Hey, temperatures dropped. It enabled me to come out and work outside in the garden. I don't do well in the heat. So I waited till it got around 80 degrees and I came out and started working the garden. So stay tuned. I'll be right back and show you what I've been planting. Hey, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Been working hard on the garden. So I went and researched to figure out what plants we can plant in the middle of August for our growing zone. Now the growing zones have changed. I want to point that out. At least I noticed our growing zone has changed. We're now growing zone 8A. We live in a microclimate, so I really have to pay attention to specifically where I am, and so the powers that be, the USDA, that's who it is, has been taking census and figuring out where the zones are, particular because they realize that especially in the mountainous west we do have microclimates, and they're facilitating that idea of having microclimates because a lot of people are failing with their gardens because they're going by an overall reach of what they say. You're in growing zone 10. Yeah, but I live high in the Cascade Ranges. If I lived in the Agate Desert, yeah, I'd probably be growing zone 10. But up here in the mountains, in this isolated little valley, microclimate. No, we're growing zone, and I found out specifically growing zone 8A. So I have to really be attentive to what plants grow when, because you can't really trust the back of the plant seeds. You have to trust when, if they're a cold growing plant, that's fine. If they're a warm weather plant, that's fine. If you have to start them indoors, that's fine. If you can plant them directly outdoors, okay, you pay attention to that. And that's what I've been doing. So today I'm planting a bunch of plants. So here we go. Okay, for my fall harvest garden, I'm planting August 15th. Here's what I have planted. Pak choy. I did 2 rows of pak choy here. I got some cabbage that's ready to harvest. I have a whole row of iceberg lettuce that I planted here. Across here in the middle, between all the cabbages, I planted Brussels sprouts. Along the trellis here, I planted burpee stringless green pod beans, and I've got some growing here that haven't quite potted yet. And then I've got iceberg lettuce growing in here also, and then a variety of corn. In this bed, of course, I have sunflowers and a nice variety of corn, which I'm really impressed about. I have some cantaloupe growing here. These are cantaloupes. This is a watermelon. That is a summer squash. That's a tomato. That's a tomato. And then I got garden beans growing up the trellis here. And then along here, I have this variety of beets. For this back garden, of course, I've got cucumbers growing here. I just planted kohlrabi right in here, a cold weather crop. I've got some more brassicas and kale growing in here, along with corn and sunflowers there. That garden, I was hoping to plant some beans here, but I ran out of beans, so nothing's growing there. Tomatoes, 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 tomatoes. Oh, I got a tomato growing there. And this whole bed is carrots. Yep, this whole bed is carrots. Except for right in here, I planted this variety of cabbage. On this bed, on this end, I just planted some zinnias. And then my onion patch is doing well because I put them in cages and let them root into the soil, so the vermin have not gotten to my onion bulbs. My peppers are all coming in. And this is a variety of peppers I just planted today. This pepper here, this pepper here, this kind of pepper here, keystone resistant giant peppers here. I'll thin them out as they grow. And then another variety, or another one of those I'm growing there. Then I've got these kind of beans, tender long beans there. And the only thing I planted in my herb garden right here is this variety of sage. And I planted it right there. I don't think I have any sage growing, but I have coriander, I have cilantro over there. I have, well, I do have this lavender. I have a lavender. I've got okra right there. It hasn't fruited yet. I forgot what I planted there. I'll have to look at my tag. And then sweet peas growing up the vine, and they have podded, so I'll save the pods from that. And then I've got some thyme and rosemary growing in here, and the comfrey is growing so much that I have to harvest it and dry it. And I'll dry it the same way I'm doing the lavender here that I harvested from the front yard. And then this is the variety of plants that I can grow in mid-August in zone 8A because of the changing dynamics of climates and stuff, and where we are to the sun and where the sun is into the cosmos. It never stays the same. You just got to keep, it's never static, never ever static. You just got to adapt from year to year. So we are now zone 8A. We used to be zone 10, but we have microclimates here in Oregon. But these are the varieties I can grow or have a choice of growing right now. And then, of course, I keep watering my cherry tomatoes. I got to harvest a couple there. And I've got to harvest some there. And I've got to prune this one back. It's got some dead stuff on it. So these are survivors from 2 years ago. So right now, I can't grow in the greenhouse, but I can dry in the greenhouse. So the greenhouse serves a double duty. It also gives me a workstation to sort my seeds to figure out which ones I want to grow. And my wife still has some houseplants out here that she's growing. And we're actually started one right here as an experiment. Since that went so well, we're going to start some more. I just improved my garden with some blood meal, which increases the nitrogen because some of the plants are a little yellowing, and that means they may be nitrogen deficient. Like my experimental squash I have in these bags of soil. Instead of building an expensive raised bed, I just planted them in a bag of soil. And the plants are demonstrating a little bit of yellowing, which means they could be nitrogen deficient. So I went down and purchased a 15-pound bag of blood meal, and I added it to the garden. And so hopefully these plants will green up. And this one so far is producing a really nice pumpkin for me. Isn't that nice? Yep, I like it. Okay, now I've been out in the heat too long. It's like 82, 83 degrees. I finished planting. Hope you guys liked the episode to show you what I can plant for fall harvest. And some items will grow into winter because they are cold loving plants. And we don't get our deep frost, a really deep freeze, until February and March. March is when we usually get our huge snowstorms. Yeah. Here's an example of a snowstorm that happened last year. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. March 1st, 2024. You know what? This is normal. This happens from year. It fluctuates from week to week throughout the month of March, but every March, every year, we get one last epic snowstorm. Every year. It never changes. It's been doing that for as long as I can remember, and I'm 65, almost 66 years old, and this is what it does. Right now we got about 5 inches of snow on the ground. 5, 6 inches of snow. We got more coming today. Let's make sure that the heat is on in the greenhouse. We have no power right now, but I have alternatives. I'll show you guys once I get done feeding the animals what my alternatives to power are. No electricity, but I have this propane heater and extra gas. My knob broke off, so I'm going to turn it on full high. And I got the chick brooder right above it, so they're going to stay warm. You guys warm enough? Okay. No electricity. That is a heater, but we got propane and heater in here to keep the greenhouse warm. And like I said earlier in the program, yeah, regardless of snowstorms, I can start produce. I can start seeds indoors earlier because I do have that that heater in there, and I do have ventilation, so I can control, grow. And I've got tomatoes I've been growing in there for 2 years. Yeah, I'm bragging about it, and I'll continue bragging about it. I'm going to see how long they'll grow. I got to research that to see what the oldest tomato plant is that's still producing fruit. That's interesting. I never thought about that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and keep them in there. And can't grow much in the heat in the greenhouse in the summertime, even though I can open up all the windows and vent it really good. Still gets too hot. So what I do is I use it as a dryer, and I harvest, like I just harvested my lavender and I'm hanging it to dry, and I'm going on Amazon. I'm going to order one of those. It's a still, okay, and I can render that into essential oils to make soap from goat milk. Yeah, I got goats. We just bred them today. Another story. Yes, they shredded the gate. Yeah, whole nother story. That was a surprise. Anyway, we're gonna have baby goats in January. Not a good time, but I couldn't control it. I just have to build a more robust goat pen. But goat milk makes good soap. You can add lavender to the soap, make lavender tea, make lavender essential oils for different things. Yeah, check out all the uses for lavender oil, and I'm gonna get the processor which I can make my own essential oils, which to me is just an adventure. It's just something I want to try. Well, I'm Jerry Hansen, your host in the Homestead Garden Series. I'm showing you guys what I'm planting in my microclimate, Zone 8A, in the mountains of southwestern Oregon. And this is for the fall harvest. Yeah, the fall harvest. Anyway, stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon. That gives you an idea of what new episodes I'm coming up with or what new adventures I'm going on. Stay tuned. I got something to share with you guys. I just got contacted by a casting office out of Hollywood. Yep. I'll share that with you in a later video. Stay tuned. Be safe, always be kind, give us some thumbs up, share the videos. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye now.